it's Soraya. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a little story time video, as you can tell from the title. So basically, I'm just going to jump right in because I don't even know how to preface this. It's so crazy. I just want to tell the story and then never think about it again. So basically, I know a lot of my subscribers are people that I know personally. So you definitely know who this is if you know me personally. If you attended the church I used to attend in Pennsylvania, you know who I'm talking about. So I'm not going to say any names, but I think you can, if you're one of those people, you'll probably be able to put together who this is. If not, just enjoy the story. So let's see. Basically, let me give you a little background about this person. So I've known this person probably like 90% of my life. I'm 22, and I think I've known him probably since I was maybe 5. I want to say, I'm guessing, but I don't remember not knowing this person. So this person, we grew up in church together. Our parents knew each other. They got along well. The guy was friends with my brother because they're the same age. My brother is 26. So they would hang out a lot. He would come over sometimes. And as I got older, I became friends with him too. Just because, we were, in youth group together, and he was my brother's friend, and basically almost like a family friend, really. So I got to know this person over the years, and I just always thought, oh, that's so-and-so, that's my friend. Never thought anything about it. So we've been friends for years. Fast forward to about, I want to say July of this year, or maybe it was June. It was either the end of June or the beginning of July of 2020. And I had recently gotten back in contact with him. We, would check in on each other here and there. Maybe a phone call once in a blue moon, just to be oh, how are you? How's life? But that was it. But we had recently gotten back in contact with each other because I had went through a breakup, and it was everything went up in flames, basically. And it was a very just crazy experience. So him and a bunch of other of my friends knew about it because it was just such a big deal. For safety reasons, I needed to tell everybody I knew, because the person I was dating actually knew some of my friends because we had been dating for so long, and I just needed to let them know what happened. So I had told him maybe the end of June or beginning of July about it, I think. And he was like, oh, are you okay? What's going on? Where are you now? How are you feeling now? And everything was cool. Honestly, I wasn't fazed by the breakup. That was never my problem. It was just that a certain family members and friends were very scared for me, and I don't know what it is, but I feel actually I do know what it is, because I was talking to a friend. I'm going off on a tangent a little, but just listen to me. So I was talking to a friend the other day, actually a couple months ago, and he had asked me oh, what's your biggest fear? And I was I really don't think I fear anything anymore. And that's because my mom passed away March of 2019, and before, and it was sudden. It wasn't we saw it coming. And before that happened, I I would watch a TV show or a movie, and someone's mom would die, or something crazy would happen to their mom, and I'd always think damn, that's my worst fear. You know what I mean? Losing my mom, like young, like I don't think I could handle it. I don't think I could, go on like that. I felt like that was my biggest fear. And like I even had like dreams like leading up to my mom's passing of her dying, but I just always thought they were just, like that was my biggest fear. So like I just figured that's what those dreams were. But yeah, I might do like a whole different video on like my dreams and stuff like that, because for whatever reason, like I keep dreaming of things and they come to pass, and I feel like that's God like trying to warn me about like things that are happening in my life or are going to happen. Like he's giving me some kind of like he's giving me like the foreknowledge, basically. Like he wants me to be prepared. So I always thought that was my biggest fear. So I had told my friend, I was like, yeah, like I think, I don't really fear anything anymore, because I've already faced my biggest fear, and like I'm living like in the aftermath of it, and I don't see anything topping that. So I was telling him like, I'm not really afraid of anything. So when that breakup happened, like I was just like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. Like just be about your business, get your stuff together, do what you got to do, and whatever, it'll be all right. Like I wasn't really fazed, because I was in like such a place like during that relationship that I really did not care to even be in that relationship towards the end. So I was good. But a lot of my friends were very concerned just because of the way it ended. They were just very scared for me. And so I figured he was, when I told this person about the situation, they were like, being supportive pretty much. And they were like, well, when you get settled, like I'll come visit you to like, see about you, make sure you're good, like, whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, like that's awesome, like, I'll see you soon, whatever. Fast forward to like the end of July, or like the beginning of August, and he texts me and he's like, oh, how about I come down, sometime in August or something. I think I have some free time in August. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, let me know like what days work for you, and I'll see what works for me, because I work in a lab, and even though like with the whole coronavirus thing, even though I do work from home, like I would say like the majority of the time, I still do go into the lab occasionally, like a day or two, maybe 3 days a week, like for a couple of hours here and there, just to like run certain assays and do certain things, and then I do the rest of my work from home. So I was trying to figure out a week where I didn't have to be in the lab that much, you know what I mean, so that when he came down here, like we could hang out, we could chill, we can go to dinner, we could explore the city basically. And so I was like, yeah, like let me look at my calendar, blah blah blah. And so then I remember like him sending me like a picture of like a confirmation date or something like that, like for a flight. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So like he had picked the flight already, is what I'm saying. Like, and I don't remember ever like agreeing to like a day, like, yeah, you can come on this day and then leave this day. I don't remember ever doing that. But I do remember like getting the confirmation, picture of like the, when you book a flight and you get the, like your confirmation number, da da da. That's the screenshot he sent me. And I was like, oh, okay, like whatever. That kind of works. I didn't really think twice about it, because I needed to empty out my storage unit, and I had some huge pieces of furniture that I needed to that I needed help moving and stuff. So I was like, and I was trying to do that by a certain day. So I was like, okay, that works out. He'll be here that weekend, so he can help me do that. So I didn't think twice about it. So then I remember him texting me like, yeah, like I'm not gonna tell anyone I'm coming down there. And then I'm gonna insert screenshots if I can figure out how to do that. I really suck when it comes to technology, but yeah. So he sent me a picture. I mean, he sent me a text saying, yeah, I'm going to come down there and I'm not gonna like tell anyone. And like I just sent like a question mark, and he was like, oh, why are you confused? Like I'm not telling my mom, but my friends know, I think is what he said. And I was like, oh, okay, like whatever. Like I again, like not really questioning like what he's saying too hard, like not really thinking about it like that, because again, this is someone I've known like my entire life, that I've been friends with like the majority of my life, someone who I consider like to basically be a family member, and I'm just not thinking twice about anything he's saying. So I'm telling my cousin and my aunt, I'm like, oh yeah, so and so's coming down to visit, he's gonna help me with like my storage unit, and like we're just gonna like chill or whatever and have fun. And you know, they were like, oh, that's good, like you know you'll be able to get your storage unit cleaned out, and like that's good that your friend's coming to see you, that's nice. And mind you, after like I got off the phone with them, my aunt told my cousin, like, make sure you call Sarai that weekend, like make sure you keep calling her that weekend, like to make sure she's good. And so she did end up calling me that weekend a couple times, but anyway, so he finally gets here. I want to say he flew in on a Wednesday night, and I picked him up from the airport, and you know, like we went back to my place, and like, you know, we're just catching up, like we're just, you know, like catching up like, you know, old friends do. And then all of a sudden I just got this like really like weird vibe, like he just started to like, you know, like touch me and like literally like try to poke me in the stomach, which like that's just weird, like it's just weird like how touchy he was being. And like I immediately was like on guard. I was like, okay, like, you know what I mean, like you know when someone's coming onto you, like, and it doesn't even have to be like them verbally saying something to you. You can tell when it's a certain vibe, and by somebody's actions and like just their whole demeanor, you can tell what time it is. So I knew what type of time he was on, and I was like, I immediately started talking about how, oh, I'm seeing this person, oh, I'm seeing that person, like just telling him about all the people I've been seeing and dating and stuff like that, to let him know that like you are a friend. Do you know what I mean? Like you're in the friend zone, and I wholeheartedly believe in the friend zone. If you're in the friend zone, when it comes to me, stay in the friend zone. You will always be in the friend zone. It will never be anything more than that. So PSA. And so I'm trying to talk to him as a friend, and I'm letting him know that like I'm not interested in, basically like without verbally saying like, hey, I'm not interested. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, you're in my house. You don't really have anywhere to go, and I'm not going to kick you out unless things, you know, escalate. But like I'm trying to be careful with what I say, because I don't want things to escalate. I don't want to poke the bear. Do you know what I mean? So I kept it cool, calm, collected. I was cool as a fan that weekend. Like, you wouldn't even know that I was like pissed about him like trying to come on to me that first night he was here. Another thing is he was he smokes weed, right? So he had brought some weed down, and he kept offering it to me. Now, I don't smoke. Like, I have smoked maybe once or twice, maybe maybe a couple times, but I don't like it. 1, 2, it's stupid to me, and 3, like I have a job. Like I'm a grown woman who has a full-time job, and they drug test me like randomly. So I'd be stupid to be like sitting up here like doing drugs with you. Like I don't need to do that. I don't want to do that. It's never been my like go-to. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just not something I do like recreationally for fun. And so he kept trying to offer it to me, and he's like, oh, you know, are you sure you don't want some? Are you sure you don't want some? Kept passing it to me. I'm like, I do not want any. I had to say that maybe like 3 or 4 times. And that was another thing that really annoyed me, and it kind of like raised some more flags. And something just told me like, you know, don't don't drink around this person, don't smoke around this person, like guards up, you know what I mean? Like something might happen. So just, you know, have your wits about you this weekend and, you know, be on guard. So I'm trying to make the best of a really like scary situation. Because I don't want to get hurt at this point. So I'm acting cool, I'm acting calm. We go to bed, and I had called. I don't know if I called or if my friend called, but somehow like we ended up on FaceTime with each other, and I was on like FaceTime with her till I want to say like 2:30 in the morning or something. And if you know me, you know that I go to bed at like 11 o'clock at night, like latest 12:30. I do not stay up late like anymore. Like I can't do it. But that's how like disturbed I was, and I feel like my inner like spirit, like something told me like do not fall asleep. So I was up as late as I could be with her on the phone. And then like I just couldn't sleep, you know, like I was just kind of like I would nod off for maybe like 5 minutes and then wake right back up and be up for like another hour, and you know, like it just kept doing that until maybe like 6 a.m., maybe like 6:30 in the morning. And then at that point I was wide awake, and I just got up and started my day. And normally I don't get up or wake up till about 7:30 in the morning, but again, I just couldn't sleep. So, and I just felt uncomfortable, so I just got up, I walked my dog, like I went for a run, like I was just doing anything to like not like be in the same room as this person at this point. So then like I actually ended up having to go into the lab that day. So I went into the lab maybe around like 10 or 11 that day, and I was originally only supposed to be there for like an hour or two, but I ended up staying till I want to say like 3:30. And honestly it was God, because I was sitting there, you know, doing paperwork or like in the lab, and I was like this is such an awkward situation, like I kind of don't want to go back, like because we had plans like to explore the city, to like go out to eat, to do this and that, and like to really like have a fun weekend. And I was just like, I don't want to do anything with this person, you know what I mean? It was just such a bad like vibe. Like I really felt like trouble was like near. So I stayed as long as I could. I came home. I think I went to the grocery store. Like I pulled into the parking lot of where I live, and then I was like, let me go to the grocery store just to like kill some more time. And then I finally came home or whatever. I'm still trying to act normal and cool. Then we kind of just get into this conversation, and he starts asking me like, oh, like what do you think a lot of money is, basically? Like he was saying like, oh, like my friends make this amount of money, like do you consider that to be a lot of money? And I was like, no, I don't. And then he was like, well, what do you think about like what I decided to major in college? I think it was like a business major and like a Bible major or something like that. And I was just like, oh, you know, it's cool, it's whatever. And then he was like, well, what do you think about real estate? Because that's kind of like his like, I guess his job field now. And I was like, oh, you know, that's cool, like real estate's where the money is, like you can make a lot of money that way. Like for those of you who have Netflix, you know the show Selling Sunset. I was telling him about that show, and I was like, yeah, like you know, they're selling millions and millions of dollar houses, and they're getting these huge commissions. Like it's like you could sell a house and like be good for a year, like you wouldn't have to work for a year. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, real estate's cool, whatever. So I just got the vibe that he was kind of asking about himself, like indirectly, like he wanted to see like if he really like had a chance with me or not. And it's just, that's like one of the things like I'm very angry about. Like I'm not the type of person to like to be sad over situations. I'm more the type to be mad, like furious. So like at this point I'm like super mad that like you would even think you had like a chance in hell with me. Like, excuse my language, but like I don't know what made you think you would ever have a chance, regardless of the amount of money you make, regardless of your job. Like, why in a million years would I be interested in you? Especially since we grew up almost like together. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just so, it like blew my mind that this was happening just because I saw this person as like literally a brother. So I was just like, I was just so thrown. I was just so thrown. And it just made me so mad that like he would really come down there on like that type of time. Especially since you knew I just got out of this like toxic, messy relationship. And it's just like, you didn't come down here to check on me. You came down here to shoot your shot. And to me, that's just so, like, it's beyond disrespectful. Beyond. So at this point, like, I'm livid. And so time goes on. I think we went out to dinner that night or the next night. I don't really remember. But the whole time, like, anytime when we were just, like, at my place, I was calling friends. I was FaceTiming friends, like, basically, I was just trying to have witnesses, you know what I mean? Just in case anything were to, like, happen at any point. So, yeah. Sorry, my neck is hurting. Oh, I just had to do that. So, yeah. That happens. We go out to dinner or whatever. He was, like, asking me, like, about, like, some of the dates I was going on and, like, whatever. And, like, anytime I would answer a question about that, or, like, anytime he would, like, oh, I forgot to mention, like, the first night when I started talking about, like who I was seeing and stuff like that, he, like, gave me this, like, really strange look, and he was like, why'd you bring that up? And I was like, oh, like, you know, because, like, that's who I was messaging just now on my phone, like, you know, I'm trying to play it off. So then at dinner, Thursday night or Friday night, I was like talking about dates or whatever, and he was like, oh, well, we could have done that. Why didn't we do that? And I'm looking at him like, are you tapped? Like, this is not, we're not, do you, like, I just don't know where you're getting this from. Like, I don't know. And I think I'm too nice. I think my problem is I'm too nice with people. I'm not like I try not to be like rude to when it comes to men, just because men are crazy. In my opinion, men are crazy. Men are psychopaths. Men are a danger and a menace to women in society. And I feel like, you know, there's been too many times where I've seen like a girl reject a guy and then she gets like jumped, or she gets killed, or, you know, she gets assaulted in some way. Like, I'm trying to avoid all of that by, you know, not directly rejecting you, but rejecting you in a way that I feel like you should subliminally get. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there like, is he serious right now? Like I cannot believe he came down here like this. So that happened. Then the next day we didn't do like we didn't really do anything except like clear out my storage unit and I think like grab lunch at like Wegmans or something. And that was it. Like, we just came home. Like, I was not trying to go anywhere. Like, I would even like walk my dog, and like he would walk her with me. Like, he would want to walk with me, and I that was pissing me off too, because it was like that was my like chance to get away from him for a minute. But he would try to walk the dog with me, and like I have a pool at my apartment complex, and he was like, oh, like, you know, why don't we like go to the pool or whatever? Is it open? And I was like, oh yeah, it's open, but I don't feel like going. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't even feel comfortable wearing a swimsuit around you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how like predatory this whole situation felt. And so then Friday, so he leaves early Saturday morning. So Friday night comes around, and he was like, we were just watching TV. It was maybe like 10 o'clock. And he was like, oh, what time are you going to bed tonight? And I was like, oh, I think I'm just gonna stay up all night and then, take you to the airport because it'll be hard for me to get up at like 4 a.m. any other way. Which I'm lying because you know what I mean? I used to take super early flights like that all the time. I have no problem getting up and going to the airport like that, but I just don't want to sleep around you. So he was like, oh, okay, well, I think I'm going to go to bed. And I was like, okay, like, good night. So I'm out in my family room and I'm watching TV like all night long, like just trying to stay up. And I just like get so creeped out thinking about it because like I literally was feeling unsafe in my own home, and it's pissing me off that like someone I really thought was a friend like would do this to me. So then I went to sleep or whatever, maybe around like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. But I was like, when I say I went to sleep, I really was asleep for maybe like 10 minutes, and then I would like check my phone or something and like see what time it was, and like, keep doing that until it was finally like 4 a.m. or something, and I was just like up and like ready to take him to the airport. Mind you, I forgot to mention, almost every single time like he used my bathroom, I could hear him talking to himself. And like I would think he was talking to me, so I'd be like, oh, what'd you say? And he'd be like, oh, nothing. But then I would hear him still talking to himself. So that's when I really started to get creeped out. And he was doing that the morning I was supposed to take him to the airport. He was like, oh, I'm gonna take a shower or whatever. And I just heard him talk to himself like before he got into the shower. And I'm just like, bro, like this is like, he's insane. Like, who is he talking to? His demons? Like, I just don't understand. Like who are you talking to? Like, this whole thing's getting so creepy. Like, it's escalating. And so finally, it's time to take him to the airport. And I'm like, okay, do you have all your stuff? He's like, yeah, I got everything. So I take him to the airport, drop him off, say goodbye, go home. Tell me why this man left a toothbrush in my toothbrush holder, socks under my bed, and a dirty t-shirt on my office desk. And I was like, yes, people forget things, but it's just like, it was almost like intentionally, it felt like it was intentionally left. Do you know what I mean? Especially like the toothbrush. Because it's like, why are you putting your toothbrush in my toothbrush like holder anyway? So freaked out. So I just like, I threw out all his stuff. I like basically deep cleaned my apartment because I was just so skeeved. And I was calling my friends. I told them what happened, and I called my cousin and was telling her, and she was like, you need to block him. Like, he came down there and he thought he was going to get something that he didn't get, and now he's probably back, home in Philly, probably like stewing over it. And he could come back because he knows where you live, and like you're gonna be like, you need to block him, you need to tell your dad what happened, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I agree with you, but I'm not trying to step on any toes. Like you have to deal with crazy people a certain way. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're in danger, it's not always the best idea to set off like alarms like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's easier to play it like cool and calm. So that's what I was trying to do, because I felt like he was the type of person to like snap. Do you know what I mean? So like, I wasn't trying to encourage that. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna block him, I'm gonna soft block him. And I don't know if I just made that up or if like that's like an actual thing, but it's basically like when someone's texting you like constantly, and you want to block them, like you wait till they stop texting. Like you stop responding, like let them send their messages, let them call, let them do whatever. And once you see like sorry, my phone was telling me it's almost dying. Once you see like a break in like the messages, like in the messages and calls, that's your time to block. Do you know what I mean? Because like, if you're sending messages one after the other, you can see like, and we both have iPhones, the little delivered text under your thing. If that doesn't pop up, that means someone blocked you, right? So I feel like if you're sending messages, and all of a sudden something suddenly doesn't go through, you're like, what? did you block me? Do you know what I mean? But like, if I wait like days or weeks where like you're not contacting me, and then I block you, it's like, did she change her number? Like, maybe her phone's broken. Maybe, maybe it's my service. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was trying to like block him in a very polite way. So, she was like, no, you need to block him now. He's crazy, blah, 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 blah. And I was telling my friends, and they were like, that's so crazy. Like, I didn't know he was like that. Like, how do you feel? Like, are you good? And I was just like, yeah, like, again, I'm pissed. Like, I'm the type of person, like, not, like, I don't know. I guess that's, like, my first instinct. Like, I'm not going to cry about it unless I'm, like, angry crying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm pissed type thing. Because I always get pissed first, Like, that's my instant reaction, just to be mad. So, then what happened? Yeah, so I'm telling my friends or whatever, and they're just like, wow, like, that was mad disrespectful. Like, I'm sorry you went through that. Like, let me know when it's time to block him, because, I'll block him. Because remember, I've known this person for such a long time that he's friends with a lot of my friends. He, was cool with my ex. He was, you know what I mean? Like, he knew my cousins and my grandmother, and he knew my family. He knew, like, he was in the inner circle type thing. You know what I mean? Like, not saying he was like keying with my family all the time, but he knew them. Do you know what I mean? Like, he knew them better than most of my friends do, I guess you could say. And especially my dad, because he works for my dad. So then, yeah, so he's like sending me messages. He's like DMing me on Instagram. He's texting my phone. Then he gets like weird, and I remember I was talking about someone else who goes to my father's church, and I was saying, like, do you know who this is? Like, I was showing him a picture. I was like, do you know who this is? Because he found me on Instagram, and he constantly is DMing me like really inappropriate messages, and I'm pretty sure he goes to my dad's church. And he's like, no, I don't recognize that person. I'm not sure. Like, he might just be like someone random on the internet. And I was like, no, like, I swear this person like goes to church. So I came across his profile on Facebook like a couple days after this person left. And I sent him a picture of the Facebook profile, and I was like, this is the person like that's been like sending me like crazy messages. And he was like, oh, that's so and so's like family member or something. Excuse me. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I knew like he looked familiar. And hopefully I can insert the screenshot, but he said something like, oh yeah, like he's doing too much. And then he was like, man, you get all the attention. And then under that message, he was like, he's really feeling you. How does that make you feel? ... Question mark. And he was asking about the person, but I felt like he was also asking about himself. Do you know what I mean? So I texted back, and I was like, it feels predatory. I don't like it, or something like that. Like, I said 2 different things. And he was like, oh yeah, like it definitely is, but I mean, it's like posting steak every day on Instagram. He's hungry, LOL, or something like that. And I was like, why are you speaking like about me like that? So I had showed my friends, and they were like, no, like, absolutely not. Like, now's the time to block him, Sarai. Like, just do it now. So I still didn't block him, right? So then he sends me a message like, oh, I feel bad for you or something like that. And I was like, why? He was like, oh, because, it's just you and your dog, in your apartment. And I was like, yeah, that's the whole point. Like, I wanted to live alone. That's why I leased this apartment. And I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm single. I'm living my life. Like, like, oh, doors are opening for me. I'm getting money. I'm feeling good. And, I personally like it just being me and my dog here. And, of course I have, friends over from time to time, and I go here and I go there. But when I come home, it's just, my personal bubble. And I like that. So I was trying to say that to him through text. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, and he just kind of like brushed it off or whatever. And it made me feel like he wanted me to say like, oh, like you should come back down here, or like, it made me feel like he was trying to like figure out how to get back down here to see me. And I didn't like that at all. So that was like another red flag. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna block him tomorrow or something like that. Like, I was saying in my head, like, okay, I'm gonna block him tomorrow. Mind you, I'm still telling my friends, my cousin, like, everything that's happening. And oh, this is so random, but I trimmed my hair myself, you guys. Do you like it? I think it looks a little like flat, but I just like how I chopped it. I really needed to chop my ends, and I feel like they look good. I'm just looking at myself in the camera. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm like, cause I feel like when like bad things happen, I kind of just like, my mind just goes like this, like the bad things over here, and like you're over here, like my brain's trying to be like, no, like dissociate from it. So I'm like trying to remember like everything to give you guys like the full story, but it's kind of hard. Oh, what else happened? So yeah, I'm telling my cousin, I'm telling my friends, like, I'm keeping them updated. I'm sending them screenshots of like the conversations and stuff, and the Instagram DMs. And then I think he asked for my Snapchat one day, and I just didn't reply. And then like at some point, I don't know if it was that day or a couple days before, I noticed that like I was sharing my location, because I think my cousin was like, just go ahead and block him, and I think I was gonna block him. And you know how you press the little I button like on someone's like contact or whatever, and you can see like, the attachments, like all the pictures you sent, or like locations, and it'll say like if your location is on or whatever. And it said my location was on. And then I went back to my texts, and then you know how when you share a location, it'll say it like in the thread, it'll say you started sharing your location at 5:56 p.m. on whatever day. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was on the phone with my cousin. I was like, oh my God, it says I'm sharing my location with this person. And she's like, how did he turn your location on? Like, this is a problem. This is getting scary. And I'm like, yeah, like, this is definitely getting weird. Like, this is getting creepy. Like, I don't remember turning my location on. I really don't know what to think at this point. You know what I mean? Like, how did you get my phone? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I went to the bathroom. I left my phone somewhere. I don't know. And so I turned off the location. Then fast forward a couple days later, and he texts me. I think that's when he texted me like, oh, what's your Snapchat? I ignored that. And then I think he sent me a DM of something stupid, and I didn't respond. And then he sent me another text messages. Sent me another text message, and it said, I miss you. And at that point, I was like up to here. I was like boiling hot at that point. And I was like, okay, your ass is getting blocked at this point. And so I was looking at, the message thread again, and I'm about to block him. And tell me why it said my location was turned back on. It said my location turned back on. Okay. Okay, sorry. Somebody called me. So then, yeah, I noticed the location was turned back on again. So this is the second time the location has been turned on, and now I'm like, okay, that's like beyond creepy now, because that means like you have my iCloud password or something, because how does my location just turn back on? So at that point I was like, okay, I'm actually blocking now, because if I really block you for real, like there's no way you can see my location. So I blocked him, called everybody, was like, block him now on socials, block him if you have his number, etc., etc. So then I didn't hear anything for like a day or two. I think like the day I had just finally blocked him, he had friend requested my cousin on Instagram and she denied the request. So that whole thing happened. I blocked him. Days go by, maybe like a day or two, and he probably noticed then and there that he was blocked, because again, I didn't wait like that period of time I had wanted to wait to block him. But he noticed I was blocked, and he emailed me. And I don't know how he has my email address, so that was weird. But he emailed me. He was like, "Why did you block me?" And I didn't respond. Oh, and at this point, I think right before he sent the email, like a day before or something, I told my cousin to tell our grandmother what was going on so that my grandma could tell my dad. And so my dad had reached out to me and was like, "What's going on? Like, what's happened? Like, I need the details. You need to tell me everything that happened, or I'm gonna go off on this person." And so I was like, "Well, don't do that, because again, I'm not trying to poke the bear. Okay, like you can't argue with crazy. You can't like." Sometimes you just have to back away slowly and remove yourself from the situation slowly. So I didn't want anything, to pop off. So I was like, no, don't say anything. Just be aware. If anything happens, just so you know, this is the timeline of everything. This is what happened. XYZ took place, and that's why he's blocked. So then I told my dad all of that. Then like a day later, the person emailed me and was like, "Why did you block me?" I didn't respond. I just took a picture of it, blocked his email, and sent it to my dad. And then maybe a few days later, my cousin calls me and is like, "This person like requested to follow me again," like after I had already rejected the request. So she told me she was gonna send him like a DM and say like, "Please stop requesting to follow me. Like, my page is private for a reason. Like, I don't want you following me." And that was that. Then a couple days go by again. A couple more days go by, and we fast forward to yesterday. So I think today's date is today the 29th? No, I think it's the 28th. I think today's the 28th. So August 27th, 2020, I had a long day in the lab, dumb tired, came home from work, walked my dog. I was like, I'm going to bed early. I can't do this. I'm over it. Took a shower, straightened my hair, and wrapped it, went to bed. I'm all snuggled up in bed. It's literally like 8 o'clock. Like, that's how tired I was. I was really about to knock out at 8. I put on a movie. Jasmine, my dog, she's in her bed. She's about to go to sleep too. The lights are off. It's pitch black in my apartment, except for like in my room, this room. I have the TV on and that little rock salt lamp on. That's it. Doors are locked. Like it was closed for the night. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting in bed. I put on like The Emperor's New Groove or something, because like I'm loving Disney Plus right now. I'm like watching all the oldies. So I'm putting that on, and I just started the movie, and then I hear like boom, 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 boom. Like, when you knock on a door with your wrist, it sounds a lot heavier than like with your knuckles. It was like a wrist pound on my door, or on a door, because at first I didn't think it was my door. So I heard that, like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, no, sorry. The first time it knocked, it was a loud knock, but I could barely hear it. Like, I heard like the end of it. And Jasmine barks a certain way when she hears like someone at the door. So that's what made me think like, oh, that was someone knocking on the door. Must be my neighbor. You know what I mean? Because I'm not expecting anyone to come over. I didn't, invite anyone over. It's a random Thursday night. Like, people have work tomorrow. Like, so I'm thinking like, oh, that's like my neighbor's business. So then the second knock, I hear it a lot louder. Sounds like a wrist knock. And Jasmine's going off. I pause my TV and I'm sitting there in bed. And I'm still not alarmed at this point because I'm really thinking it's like a neighbor or, you know what I mean? It's like DoorDash or something. So I'm just sitting there in bed. I'm just on my phone. Like, I think it was, like just texting someone or something. Just, minding my business. And then I hear boom, 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 boom again. And I'm like, is that my door? Like, that must be my door. So I leave my room, right? I'm like unlocking my door. I'm walking out the door. I got Jasmine under my arm and I walk to the kitchen and I grab a knife because I'm just that type of girl. If you're at my door, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not expecting anyone to be at my door, like, I'm just gonna show up prepared. So I grab a knife from the kitchen and, like the little peephole that you can see, like, who's at your door through. I was looking through that and I see someone like sitting like on the ground, like on the other side of the hallway. And I could only see like half their face. And it was a black person, I could tell that. It was like a shorter black person, I could tell that. But I couldn't really tell who it was, okay? So I didn't recognize him right away. So then I walked back into the kitchen and I was just waiting to hear the knock again so that I could confirm that, yes, you were knocking on my door, because the kitchen and the door are like, right next to each other. And so I hear the knock again. Jasmine's going off. I put Jasmine down. I go look in the peephole again, and I see him like walk by the peephole thing, like his face went like this by it, and that's when my jaw just dropped. I was like, that's him. Like he's here. He's at my doorstep. He like, we're 500 miles apart. He came all the way down here, and he's at my front door now, unannounced, unexpected. So I calmly picked Jasmine back up. I didn't say a thing. I didn't touch the door. I didn't yell through the door. I picked Jasmine back up, walked right back into my room, walked into my closet, called the cops. Cops are like, okay, someone will be there soon. Hung up. Oh, while I was on a phone with the cops, I'm texting everybody I know. I'm texting my dad, texting my cousin, texting my aunt. I'm texting, my homegirl from down the street. I'm texting, all my friends who know this person. I'm letting everyone know, because at this point I'm like, anything could happen. If the police don't get here soon enough, somebody needs to know, like, who this person is at my door. So I'm doing all that. I hung up with the 911 operator. I call my dad, and then I call my aunt, and it's like a 3-way call. And they're like, what's going on? Like, blah, blah, blah. And like, my cousin's in the background too. And she was like, I told you he was going to come back down here. That's why he turned your location on, because he did that for a reason. He was going to come back down there and try to like sneak surprise you or something, and like, try to attack you or something. And I'm just like in shock, because like literally everything my cousin had said, like, we had multiple conversations over the past few weeks about it. And she was like, he came down there with a plan and he didn't get what he wanted. And, now, like, you need to let, your dad know, you need to let Nana know, because if something happens and he comes back down there and he tries to, like, attack you or something, like, people need to know. So she had basically predicted the whole thing. And she's like, I told you he was going to come back down here. He was back in Philly, like, stewing over what happened, and now he's back down here to get what he wanted. So I'm, like, freaking out. I'm, like, at this point, like, I'm it's like that fight or flight, like, type feeling, and I got a knife in my hand to my phone in the other, and I had put Jasmine in my closet in like this, there's like a shelf on my closet, so I put her on the shelf, and like I just shut the door and like turned the lights out, and she was nice and like quiet and calm in there, and like while I was trying to figure everything out, And I'm like explaining to my dad and my aunt what's going on. My dad's like, do you want me to call his mom? Like, because mind you, our families know each other very well. Do you want me to call his mom? Do you want me to call his dad? Do you want me to call him? You know what I mean? Like, this boy's acting crazy. Like, do you want me to set him straight? Like, I can't believe he would come down there. And he was like, you didn't know he was coming down there? Like, he didn't send you a message? I said, no, he's blocked on everything. Everything. I blocked him on everything. There's no way for him to contact me. So he came down here probably pissed that I blocked him, or, you know, pissed that I didn't give him what he wanted, and now he's back. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a million reasons why I guess he could have reasoned his way down here. But at the end of the day, we know he wanted one thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's just so crazy to think about too. Like, I just really can't believe this person, like, you really flew like 500 miles to come see someone unexpectedly. Mind you, we're not even close friends anymore like that. And two, we're not even on good terms because I blocked you and you know that I blocked you. And you know, I had all my friends and family block you. So it's like, you're tapped for coming all the way down here. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Of course, I'm calling the cops and I'm telling everybody you're down here. So I told my dad, I'm like, yeah, call his mom or something and ask, like, if she knows where he is. So he goes and does that. I'm still waiting for the cops to come. Cops take forever, first of all. So that's like a whole other story, like, about the cops. But I'm still on the phone with my cousin and my aunt, and my other friends are, you know, they're FaceTiming me, like, trying to get into the, you know, the situation to see if I'm okay. Everybody's freaking out at this point because nobody thought he would do this. And so I'm still waiting for the cops. I'm still hearing bangs on the door. And then all of a sudden, like, the banging stopped, so I'm guessing he left or something. I don't know if he left right away after he stopped knocking or what, but I never opened that door. So it's like a million things going through my mind right now. I'm like, he knows what my car looks like. He probably saw my car downstairs. What if he keys my car? What if he leaves me a note? What if he, like, you know what I mean? At this point, I'm like, if you're crazy enough to come down here like that on, like, a moment's notice. Well, I thought it was a moment's notice. I don't know. He could have been planning his way back down here for weeks. You know, for all I know, he's crazy. And, you know, if you did all that, it's like, what else could you be doing? Could you be, like, I don't know, like, messing up my car? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking about, like, everything now. Are you walking around the neighborhood? Are you, like, trying to, like, I have a balcony. Like, are you trying to see if I'm, like, in my room? Like, are you trying to peek through the blinds? Like, so freaked out, so strange. And waiting for the cops. My dad finally calls back. I you know, catch him back into the three-way call, and he recorded what the guy was saying. So basically, sorry, I'm skipping something. So he said, yeah, okay, I talked to his mom. His mom said he doesn't know where he is. The last thing she had heard from him was like, oh, I'm busy, I'll talk to you later, or something like that. And, you know, she didn't think anything of it. But he was like, my dad was like, oh, well, your son's in, you know, my daughter's apartment complex, like, knocking on her door. Like, he flew all the way down there to see her. Like, what's good? And she was like, I had no idea. Like, that doesn't even sound right. Like, let me contact him, whatever. I guess she got a hold of him because he called my dad. My dad's like, why are you down there? Why are you banging on her door? Why would you come unannounced? Why, like, all these questions. He didn't really have any answers. I wonder if I can get the recording from my dad. I don't know. I'll have to ask to see if he'll let me use it. I don't know if he will, though. But basically, he was like, oh, I don't know what happened. I came down there a couple weeks ago, and everything was fine. And I left, and, like, you know, we were texting back and forth, and all of a sudden she blocked me, and I didn't know, like, where she was. Red flag. I didn't know where she was, and I didn't know, like, if something was wrong with her or something. And then I went on her Instagram, and I couldn't see any of her pictures. Another red flag. So then I go and look at her friends' pages, and her friends have me blocked. And then I go and look at Mariah's page, and she has me blocked. And I couldn't get in touch with her, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if I did something wrong. So I just decided to come down here to see what was going on. And my dad was like, well, you didn't think to ask, like, me, like, if she was okay? You didn't think to ask, like, any of her other friends from church? Like, you didn't think to, like, do these other, like, normal, more reasonable things? You know what I mean? Like, if somebody blocks you on everything, has all their people block you on everything, why would you go and seek them out? And it's not like we're neighbors. It's not like you live 15 minutes down the street. Like, this is, like, a huge amount of like space between us. We live on like two opposite ends of the coast. So like, what are you doing flying down here on a whim's notice? So he had no real answer for my dad, and he was just blabbering and saying whatever, and he was like, I have no idea why she blocked me. I have no idea. And my dad's like, really? You have no idea? You have no idea at all? He was like, no, I don't understand. If she's mad at me or something, I don't know. Like, I just don't understand why she would block me over something so small. He tripped. He tripped right there. And my dad was like, what do you mean so small? What happened? And he was like, I don't know. He knows. And my dad knows. But I guess he's thinking, like, I haven't told my dad what type of time he was on. So he, you know, he's tripping over words, slipping up, trying to make up excuses. He didn't think he was going to get caught. Because one, he didn't tell anybody he was coming down here. And two, he thought he was going to catch me by surprise. And I guess bum rushed his way into my apartment or something. I really don't know what would have happened if I had just opened the door. You know what I mean? Like, without thinking twice. Like, and maybe if I hadn't, like, you know, turned out all my lights and I wasn't in bed and I was, like, trying to go to sleep. Maybe, you know, I was just up because it was 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. Maybe if I was just up in the family room watching TV or something, or if I was cooking something, like, I would have just opened the door. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, I'm up. Let me just see who's at my door. Do you know what I mean? But, like, when you're getting ready for bed and you hear someone knocking on your door, it already, as a woman, it raises alarms. You know what I mean? Because you're getting ready for bed. You're not dressed. You probably aren't expecting anyone. Do you see what I mean? So, like, it was already raising flags for me, and I'm just so thankful that, like, I was listening to my gut and I was listening to the Holy Spirit, because honestly, like, I don't know what would have happened. I really don't know. I cannot honestly tell you what would have transpired, and that's, like, it's messing with me. So he's making up excuses, not making any sense, and then my dad's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go call Sarai back. I gotta hurry up and finish because people are, like, blowing my phone up right now and my phone's gonna die, so I feel like something's gonna happen. I'm gonna lose this footage. So basically, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna call Sarai then, like, you know, see, like, what's going on. And he was like, the person was like, no, don't bother calling her, like, it's not even worth it, like, you don't have to mention this to her. Honestly, if she doesn't want to be my friend, then it's just not worth it anymore. Like, it's not worth all the trouble. But it's like, nigga, it was worth coming all the way down here, though. Like, nothing he's saying is making sense. Everything is contradicting itself. And it's just like, it's just, you're listening to, like, a mad person talk. That's how it sounded. And, oh my God, it's just, my throat, like, my voice is going. I'm sorry. And that sparkling water is not doing anything for my voice. Yeah, so that happened or whatever. So my dad was showing us that recording, and he was like, what do you think about this? And I was like, oh, he sounds crazy. He sounds like he's off of it. Like, it sounds like he's cooked. So, my dad's like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to his mom tomorrow. I'm going to talk to his dad tomorrow. I want to talk to him face to face when he gets back to Philly. And that's another thing. He was asking him, like, well, where are you now? Like, are you staying in that city tonight? And he was like, no, like, I'm at the airport. Like, I just, you know, hopped on a little, like, cheap flight down here. I'm just gonna, like, you know, I booked a flight back or whatever, and I'm at the airport. Which I didn't really believe. At least not at first, because, like, you really thought you were gonna, like, what, spend the night here? Just, like, on a whim? And, but see, that's how I knew I was right about my, like, gut feeling when he first came down here, because why would you do all of that, get blocked, get cut off, then try to sneak back down here? you know what I mean? And try to get into my apartment, do whatever you plan to do, and then just dip, because it's not like you booked a hotel somewhere and, you know what I mean, like you were just, you know what I mean, like it was a plan. Like he thought something through, like he was gonna spend the night here. So scary, man. Like that's some Dateline type of stuff right there. Like I can't. Okay, so what else happened? Yeah. So then my homegirl from down the street, she finally texted me back. And mind you, like, I don't think the police even showed up yet. Like, or maybe they did. I didn't see the police. The police didn't call me back till 10:30, right? And I called it like 8:30. So at 10:30, the police is like, oh, okay, like I'm circling your block or whatever. I'm looking for him. I have his description. And I was like, okay, well, can you check my stairwells and stuff? And like, can you come like actually look me in the eye so we can have a conversation? Like, cause maybe he's hiding somewhere. And if he sees like I'm interacting with the police directly, like maybe he'll be scared off. So he's like, sure, I can do that. I can check the stairwells and come up to see you. So the police officer does that. Talking to the police, he's like, I recommend you getting a restraining order because this is some weird shit. And I recommend you stay with a friend or have a friend come over, or like just blah blah blah, running it down. He was like, if you want to take out like a restraining order, this is this is what you need to do, blah blah blah. He was like, I'm gonna keep circling the block. I'm gonna be here till I'm gonna be in this area till like 3 a.m. He gave me his like direct line, and he was like, call me if anything else happens. So he leaves. My homegirl from down the street hits me up and she's like, oh, like what's up? Like, yeah, like I'm back in town. Cause that was the thing, she had been out of town. I was like, where are you? Like, are you back in the city? And she's like, yeah, I'm back. So I was like, can you come over? Like, some crazy stuff is going down. So she came over. And when she got to my apartment, she was like, there's something like on your car, like it looks like a note or something, like it looks like someone left something there. And I was like, oh my God, didn't I just like say this to myself earlier, like in the night? Like I feel like he did something to my car, he left a note or something. So we go back down there together. When like you roll up a t-shirt like a burrito? It was like that, and it was like put under my windshield wiper. And it looked like there was something in it, like something like this maybe. Like if you were to wrap a t-shirt around this, it looks like something was inside the t-shirt, like of this shape. So, we didn't want to touch it. I was like, do you want to do it? She was like, nope. And I'm not even, like afraid of things like that, but I don't know what that is. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna call the cops again. So I called the cops again. They were like, yeah, we can do that. We can look at it. We went back upstairs. We waited for the police to come back down. It was the same officer and then a younger officer who came by, and they were like, we're outside, come down. And they were at my car, and like they unraveled it, and it was a t-shirt. And I'm gonna insert the picture of the t-shirt. Now, I didn't recognize this t-shirt at first, but I did figure that it was his because one, he's like a smaller person, and when they held up the t-shirt, they were like, oh, it looks like a women's t-shirt. I was like, that's probably his because he's small. And then they were like, well, do you think he left it here when he was knocking on your door earlier? And I was like, well, probably, like, that's what I'm thinking. And they were like, well, like, give us his information, give us what you know about him, give us your information. We'll write up a report so there's like, a trail or whatever. And if he comes back, we can get him on trespassing or XYZ. They were, showing me my options and stuff. And I was like, let me see, like, if this is his shirt or not. Like, let me figure this out. So I had called my dad. I took a picture of the shirt. I sent it to my dad. My dad's like on speaker so the police can hear him. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's one of the men's ministry shirts. And mind you, like the shirt had stains on it too. Like the police officer was like, it looks like there's stains on it. And you could tell the police officers were getting skeeved too, because it was just like the whole situation. Like I explained to them everything, and they were like really concerned for me. And so they were like, okay, yeah, like this is weird. And, you know, I was explaining, like, how the t-shirt was wrapped to my dad and stuff, and the police officer was chiming in, like, yeah, it looks intentional. Like, it looks like someone intentionally wrapped it up like that and put it under her windshield wiper. And my dad's, like, going off. He's like, oh, my God, he's a nut. He's a nut. Like, he's crazy. Like, what is wrong with this guy? And he's like, why would he, like, come all the way down there like that and try to, like, you know, hurt my daughter? Like, I just don't understand. And so he's, like, getting mad and upset, and I'm standing there, and Jaleesa's standing there, and my friend, and the police officers were all standing there, and I'm just, like, I'm disturbed. Like, I'm honestly disturbed. Like, I don't know what to do. And the police were like, yeah, it's pretty disturbing. Yeah, this is non-normal behavior. Like, you know it's bad when the police are agreeing with you that this is some, like, crackhead behavior, okay? Like, this is just not normal. And so yeah, I'm giving them the information about him, giving them my information. My dad, yes, confirms that the shirt, you know, belongs to the men's ministry or whatever. And it was just so creepy because the shirt said "Empower Men, Built to Last." And I feel like that had some kind of undertone to it. My phone is literally on 10%, so I'm going to start talking really fast. So I feel like that had some kind of undertone to it, like just that statement, like on the shirt. I just found it to be really creepy. I took a picture of it. I have pictures of everything, so I'm going to try to insert as much as I can into this video. But yeah, the police were like, you know, there's not really much we can do now, especially because my dad got the guy to just, like, share his location with him, so that we could, like, know exactly where he is to make sure he was actually at the airport and that he was actually gonna go home. Because again, my dad, well, this guy works for my dad, so you know what I mean? Like, he has a certain level of respect for him. Like, I mean, I don't know how much you can respect a person if you're trying to, like, assault their daughter, but, like, you know what I mean, men. So he was at the airport. He was sharing his location. And I told my dad, I was like, make sure he shares it with you indefinitely until he gets back in Philly, because, you know, like, I got a doctor's appointment in the morning. Like, I need to get up and walk my dog in the morning. I need to run some errands. Like, yeah, I can't just be, like, in the house all day. Thank God I didn't have to work today at all. But, you know what I mean? Like, I had things to do. I couldn't just, like, be in the house, like, you know, looking out my window, like, is he there? Is he there? Is he still... I had things to do. So, yeah, he shared his location or whatever. We say goodnight to the police officers. I'm like, what do I do with the shirt? They're like, throw it out. I just threw it out. Me and my homegirl go back upstairs to my apartment, and, like, you know, she stays with me. And yeah, that was basically it. Like, it was just a very odd night. it was very stressful, and it was just very aggravating, and, like, I had never felt so threatened like that before. Like, it was weird. But yeah, that was my experience with this crazy stalker that I now, I guess, have. And I'm really just putting this video out there, so if something else happens, everybody knows, whole world knows, whole world has access to this video now, and my family knows, my friends know. So, like, this is not, you know, hush hush. This is not a secret anymore. You're being exposed because you're a creep. You're a predator, and honestly, I hope I never see you ever again in person, because it'll be a problem. What else do I have to say? Am I missing? I just hope I'm not missing anything. Yeah. So then I woke up. I went to bed super late. Woke up in the morning. I'm getting ready for my doctor's appointment, and I get a text from my dad. And he's saying, like, okay, he landed in Philly. Like, his location says he's in Philly now, so I think you're good. So that brings us to today, because today is the day after the whole situation. Mentally, I feel fine. Like, I'm chill. I'm cool now that I know he's back in Philly. But it was a very scary situation. And again, I'm not the type of person to really be, like, scared of things like that. You know what I mean? Like, just because I feel like, again, I have faced my biggest fear. But that was definitely some other ish. You know what I mean? That I have never felt so, like, I guess like afraid for my like personal safety. Like I've never felt that way before until last night. So that's weird. But yeah, I just wanted to get this out there. I just wanted to put the story out there. I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm suppressing that, repressing that, blocking this whole event out of my mind so that I can carry on with my life and do what I have to do. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. I hope it made sense. I hope I wasn't like just babbling and not making any sense to you guys. I know I was talking fast, but it's because my phone is going to die like any second now. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this story about my stalker experience. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to hear more about this, that's too bad because I'm not going to talk about it anymore unless something else happens, because then I'll make a follow-up video. But yeah, if you guys like these story times, I'll definitely do more of them. I've been in a couple weird situations that I think would make funny story time. So if you guys like this kind of setup, let me know and I can do more of those. But until then, check out my other videos. Check out, I think the last video on my page was a Fashion Nova haul. And I think the video before that was an Ulta haul. So check those videos out if you haven't already. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys want to see next. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!